boxer, how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again shaken up the boxing world by calling out Jake Paul after Gervonta Tank Davis's fight was canceled due to legal issues. Mayweather said he's ready to face Jake, and this time it won't be an exhibition. He emphasized that it would be a real, professional fight under official boxing rules. The unexpected challenge quickly went viral, with fans wondering if Floyd is truly preparing for a serious comeback in the ring.
But at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, you know, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money.
Because of the ongoing lawsuit and investigation, Gervonta Davis's exhibition fight with Jake Paul has officially been canceled. His promoter, Most Valuable Promotions, released a statement saying they were reviewing the situation and decided not to move forward with the event under the current circumstances.
It was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way, way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring magazine that December 12th and the 19th...
Davis is now facing a civil lawsuit from his former girlfriend, Courtney Russell, over an alleged incident on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she works. The lawsuit accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and emotional distress. It claims he dragged and assaulted her in different parts of the club, including the stairs, kitchen, and parking garage. Miami Gardens police confirmed that an active criminal investigation is underway, alongside the civil case.
Boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami.
Chael Sonnen recently commented on the confusion around the rumored cancellation of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight. He said he personally reached out to both teams to confirm what was happening. According to Sonnen, neither side gave him a straight answer, which made things seem even more suspicious. He explained that when both fighters avoid denying cancellation rumors, it usually means there's something serious going on, likely deeper legal or promotional problems rather than just scheduling issues.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. my life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes opened a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched them weigh in. I want to say it was...
With Tank's fight in serious doubt, Floyd Mayweather has stepped forward and challenged Jake Paul directly. Mayweather has been open about his views on Jake's skills, admitting he finds Jake entertaining, but not a real boxer. He's called a potential fight with Jake too easy, saying Paul wouldn't be a true challenge. Floyd said Jake may be good at marketing and building hype, but once he steps into the ring with an elite boxer, the difference in skill and experience will be obvious.
There are many, many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents, or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's where his mindset's at.
Mayweather's habit of avoiding rematches has left fans with many unanswered questions. Meanwhile, Jake Paul has mostly fought opponents who are older or smaller than him. Floyd has warned that Jake's list of easy opponents doesn't prove anything, and that facing a real fighter would expose his weaknesses. While he gives Jake credit for being entertaining, Mayweather believes the moment he faces top talent, the outcome will be clear.
With like Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer, what do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
At the same time, many fighters and analysts continue to praise Mayweather, not just for his defense or speed, but for his mental toughness. They say what really made him great was his belief in himself and his confidence that no one could beat him. Former Olympic boxer Tony Jeffries pointed out that Floyd's mental strength allowed him to control fights even before they started, giving him an edge over every opponent.
They're really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're going to lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013, when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of shit.
Reports also claim Mayweather is now considering a fight with Mike Tyson. And analysts say it's not just about money. They believe Floyd's move is driven by a desire to stay in the spotlight and prove he still dominates headlines even after retiring. With everyone focused on the canceled Davis versus Paul fight, Mayweather seems unwilling to let anyone, not even his former protege, steal the attention. Experts say this is classic Floyd, a man who feeds on fame, competition, and legacy. His rumored return highlights how top boxing legends constantly fight to stay relevant in today's fast-changing sports world.
Many celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
According to several reports, Jake Paul's promotional team is already reaching out to big-name fighters as possible replacements. For Gervonta Davis, one of the most surprising names mentioned is Terrence Crawford. While nothing is confirmed yet, the idea alone has fans buzzing. Crawford's involvement would take the event to a whole new level of seriousness. However, insiders say talks are only in the early stages and may not lead to a deal. Still, the fact that Jake's team is even considering an elite fighter like Crawford shows they might be looking to turn the controversy into a bigger opportunity.
Technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted other fighters. And the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement, Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight. But Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul. But that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good-looking kid, great fighter, fast stands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul. But to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we got? Terrence Crawford. I can't see Terrence Crawford entertaining this, but then you never know, do you? If the old if the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terence Crawford's getting on now. What is he, 37, 38 years old? Had that great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him. He's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua. That never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him. It was a rubbish.
Many critics were already against the idea of Jake Paul fighting Gervonta Davis. Former champion Carl Froch harshly criticized the matchup, calling it a rubbish fight. Froch said the matchup had no real competitive value since Jake lacks proper boxing experience, and Davis is clearly more skilled. He called Jake more of a showman than a boxer and said true boxing fans wouldn't take the fight seriously. For Froch, the issue isn't who would win, it's that the fight shouldn't have been treated as a real contest in the first place.
Absolute clown world. Really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I mentioned the weight disparity before. Getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport. It should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit. He certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be, for me, they need to be locked up.
Amir Khan also slammed the fight, calling it a terrible mismatch. He said the promoters were wrong for allowing something so unfair, comparing it to torture. Khan pointed out that Jake weighs over 100 pounds, while Davis has never fought above 140 pounds. He called the matchup dangerous and exploitative, questioning whether Davis was only doing it for the money before walking away from boxing.
Gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well. And he thinks he can fight. And he's only been boxing for what, like a year. But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on. Just
some critics are now asking why the fight needed to be canceled at all. They argue that Tank is still physically fit and ready to compete, and that other athletes have fought while facing charges before. They suggest the cancellation was more about image and corporate pressure than real concern for the fighters. Supporters of this view believe the promoters should have let the fight go ahead, given the hype and money involved. Others disagree, saying that the allegations are too serious, and continuing with the fight could have created massive backlash for everyone involved.
So, did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul, his team, and Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all soon.